Topic. No one I got so long. So you talked about the next point here, which is the limiting beliefs that hold us back. Okay, this is a follow-up question or topic. Tell us about it.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah. I think one of the things I've learned about uh business is like people, like, in fact, the way the world is advancing, it's always advanced, it's always taken to another level by people who break through certain limiting beliefs. You understand? Like, throughout history, there are always certain milestones which, when the world arrives at, they feel like that is the universal truth, until somebody comes on and breaks that milestone, and it becomes another passage for everybody. So many of us Africans, I think we have held on to so many limiting beliefs that are really, really holding us back.
Mhm.
Some of them, like things like, let's say, for example, some people, we know, many of us, we come from backgrounds that are not that quite affluential, and a lot of us have been stuck in the fact that our backgrounds are like this. Maybe we cannot do any other thing, or maybe that's just how we are supposed to be. Another thing is, we take advantage of it's like we're praying for certain situations to occur so we can take advantage. Like COVID-19 just came. A lot of us are stuck in blaming COVID-19. Some of us are stuck in blaming racism. Some of us are stuck in blaming in blaming the Chinese people and so many things. Like, we're always looking for reasons to blame why we are not actually doing certain things. But on the other side, like, when you flip it to the other side, you can see that virtually you have one of the highest things you have control over is your mind and your thinking. Like, instead of complaining about doing this, like, if you find yourself that China is not good for you, or you took the decision, remember, you took the decision to get yourself to China, and you can take the decision to get yourself out of China if it's not giving you the opportunities you want. And secondly, if teaching is not giving you in China, you have the full capacity to make a U-turn and learn back something quite new that is going to help you. Like, actually, you have that opportunity. Most of us, we have group chats, and I know group chats are a place where we are supposed to be socializing. But a lot of us, we misuse that because we use it as a hiding place to hide our consciences from judging us on the real things we're supposed to be doing. Like, we waste so much time on group chats doing things that really don't matter to us. And we turn around to blame. Like, I don't think, I have this mindset, even people who are complaining about teaching, if you get so good at teaching, like, you can create something indispensable that you bring it to your school, I think even no matter how racist they are, they'll always keep you there. They'll find a way to keep you. So instead of, I think, when we have a mindset of complaining about things, it also holds us back, because instead of improving on yourself, you're always like, if you go to an interview and somebody, it's very true. It's very true, and it's very real that they will tell you you're black. They will tell you you're not a native speaker. But if you get a chance to get a demo, and the things you bring to the table are things they've never seen before, the extraordinary, they'll be like, this guy, maybe you're from Nigeria, you're from this country, but there is something in you, we see, that we have to keep. So when you're an underdog, like, what I've learned is, when you're an underdog in the game, you have to do your best. When you're a David, you have to be so ready for the Goliath in a way that in all ways possible, rather than sitting and complaining. So that's where I'm really coming in here, because many of us, we complain, we're stuck in the mindset that, oh, slavery did this to us, which is true. The Chinese people are racist, or sometimes it may be true or not. There are so many limiting things around us which are true, but we also forget about the massive opportunity we have in our brains to be able to turn all those things or to change any circumstance that is not beneficial to you, instead of wasting your time around. So I think you can also talk about this. If you can relate to that.
I like the way you talked about David and Goliath. It just reminds me to the world. There would be no David if there wasn't like a Goliath, and there wouldn't be this mindset of Africans cannot do things in China if there wasn't a rejection somewhere. So I really agree with what you just said about the one part is about being ready, okay? Being ready for what you always complain about, because sometimes we get caught up with complain about something that we're not even ready for. And even if a situation comes and an opportunity is given to us to get what we want, sometimes we can't even get it, we can't even grab it, because we just talk in complaining and never really thinking about what if this opportunity comes, am I really fit for it? So yeah, I really understand you. Although they classify us as not being a native speaker in this country, but I still know that a lot of people are trending in this teaching field. Maybe they would go crazy in class. I don't know how they do it, but I'm so sure that people still
Exactly.
do. Yeah. So really, I really agree with the fact you said we should be able to be the David when Goliath
When
comes
you have Goliath in the room, when you have Goliath in the room, you should be a David. You should galvanize every possible tool you have to be able to go against him.
So talking about this mindset, like what is your own view or what is your own little advice on how people can change it? Because sometimes it's easier said than done. Okay, I could have a change of mindset now. Maybe in this 2023 that I would never have thought of maybe having the same mindset like 2 years or 3 years back. So in your perspective, how do you think, or what are the advice you think people should gather or should have it to mindset? Yeah, to changing up.
To get okay. I think you're pushing me to go a little bit controversial here and getting into the topics where many Africans they will never like it. You understand? Yeah, many Africans we always find this like a hiding space where we there are a lot of things we do which are really a lot of us we are not ready to face it. Like I will say this, most of the time, most of the things we are doing in group chats are absolutely nonsense.
Can you give some examples?
We spend our time on topics that don't matter. You understand? Like we're in group chat, sometimes you find people sending only pictures of the food that have been able to eat, of the things, of maybe we're chatting about birthdays and about celebrations and so many things that, of course, these are things that are real and they should be part of our life, social life, but they shouldn't be like the core things we should be taking part in. I remember when we hosted the Ubuntu Summit in Yiwu. I went there. I was really quite excited to meet lots of like-minded Africans. Let's talk about business. In fact, Black people around the world, let's talk about business. Like, to my greatest surprise, when we went there, everything was moving smoothly. Like we had fun that evening. We had a very good match. We had to play. Sorry, some neighbors here are making a lot of noise and it's really disturbing. Yeah, so we had fun. We had a good match, and you know where everything started going wrong? The moment we're about to go to the hall to talk about business, about the things that really matter. Like 95, in fact, I would say 99% of the people who came there were late. They came late because people went the following night, they drank, they danced at the nightclub and drank and couldn't get up on time to get to the conference hall. And this has been consistent with, I think I've been to maybe 3 or 4 African conferences around, and those have been the major things. And you kind of find yourself like, which value do we gain? Do we even know what we're going to do in this place? Are we just all about fun, or how much importance we attach to our problems, because we always complain about these things. When we sit around, when we come about to fix them,
We run
people
away.
just turn to yeah, we run away from it. We drink alcohol and we forget
That's
about everything that we're supposed to do. So I think we have to adopt. So
okay.
many people might not like this, but we have to start changing from those things. If you eliminate alcohol, maybe from many of our our topics, we will not have what to talk about. Most of the things we sit and talk is always inspired by alcohol and irrelevant things, honestly. So I think the next mindset, we have to start facing ourselves, looking ourselves into the mirror and saying, let's put these things aside. Let's start thinking how we can construct, we can talk about ways of engaging in business. We can get about, like, when we look at business has a structure. You understand? There's what we call a value system in business. The more I struggle with business, the more I try to also read and learn so many things. And when you look at the value chain, let's take something. Let's take an example like people who are selling papers. Okay, let's just take this paper for example. There's a value chain of this paper. Like, it starts with somebody planting a tree in the forest. And then another person gets to collect the tree. They cut down the tree, and then they manufacture it. Another person has a big business of just buying this wholesale and retailing. Another person has just the business of using it to write things and sell to people. So there's this, and most of the time, us Africans were always hanging at that top of the value chain. We don't know how to descend down the root chain. And down the root, yes, down the chains is actually where the real money is. Even though we have to start from up and scale down, but many of us were always so satisfied about the top. But we have to start changing those mindsets that money is just about going around flexing. If we want to build real income for the generations to come, we have to start digging down the value chain, start owning from planting right up to the top. Like, we find businesses like these petroleum exporting companies, they go to Africa, they start from where the oil is, they extract it, they process it, and all we can do is to buy it and put it in a car. Maybe somebody has only a taxi where you buy just the oil and you use it to that's where your value starts. So if we start learning that, even though we can start from up there, if you start like a taxi driver, for example, you should be hoping that the next time you can own a petrol station where you can actually also have the fuel and the taxi. It'll be cheaper for you. The next time you can also start thinking about owning maybe the machines that can extract the oil. Yeah, going down back the value chain is something that can get us even out of all this mess. But we are not so interested in that, because we have so many limiting beliefs. We always believe that no, we are not good enough for that. Our parents were so poor. But the world, in fact,
that's the common mindset. And unfortunately, because we are all Africans, and thank God we are all Africans in today's podcast. So that is like the mindset of we are Africans. It's, even if we try to dig that in, or maybe try to bring it out, because
the world will not accept.
Yes, even apart from the world accepting, we ourselves, we don't
even believe we will succeed.
Exactly. That's the thing. So it takes more work. It takes self-discipline. It takes like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and I have to do this, and I will do this. Yeah, okay, as an African, it's hitting me so hard. Because that is true.
When you study things and you get to these levels, like, it just opens up your mind. You're like, there are things you're actually sitting on, and you think you are doing so much, which is nothing. Like, like right now, when I was starting, I want to be honest, when I was starting like my online business, it was first of all like, maybe when I will have a few hundreds, I'll be like, wow, this is so much, I can get this from online, really? And I was always blown up by it. But when you start seeing that you can live a life on this, you can even get to levels where you can start even producing these things, it becomes, it starts to blow up your mind. And it's all about belief. even what you're doing now may not be what you're actually going to do forever, but always use it as a route. Don't always stand on whatsoever you have. Even if you're teaching, don't take it like it's your end road. You can be trying to get, maybe use it like a capital to be able to fund your next projects, not just being happy about it, being like, we have to read books. We have to. You have to read into books.
Okay.
People who are doing things in this world are reading books and learning. We are left behind in group chats doing a lot of funny stuff. Honestly.
I mean, it's more like you're talking to me when you say, we have to read books, we have to read books. Actually, I love to read books, and I'm in Jinan City, and in December 2021, I founded the Jinan Book Club, which still stands. We are 1 year already. And I would say personally that, like, I'm the only Nigerian in the group chat, by the way. But having people from the US, UK, China, like from the whole world in the group chat, sometimes like we meet every month to talk about the book we read for each month. I have learned not only the book, but people's culture. I mean, I cannot say for sure how many things I've learned. So yeah, reading a book. Yeah, this podcast is, although focused on business, but reading a book can be anywhere, can be in any field, even especially in business. I think I read Rich Dad Poor Dad in, I think, May of 2021 or something like that. No, May of 2022, because we started the book in December 2021. So that book is still here. It's still here. I bought the Rich Dad Poor Dad, The Richest Man in Babylon. There's 2 books.
Yeah. Very, very. In fact, those books are also
fire. Like they.
And you can see. Look at this. Okay. Janet, look at it as this way. Look at it this way, right?
Mm-hmm.
These are books. These are books by individuals. Like somebody has taken his whole lifetime and put it in the book.
Exactly.
And you're able to process it. Then imagine how many books are out there with people's imagine how much it can scale you up. Like you're learning somebody's all of his life in one book. Then imagine how powerful those ideas can be. And it's also about really learning and applying the principles, not just like sitting and reading and sitting on them. I think it's really difficult. It's really difficult, I must say, because I started learning many of these things very late. Like I think it's just about 2 or 3 years which I've really started reading books. And you find how late you've been all your life.
That's the truth. But anyway,
find how late you've been all your life, how much you've lost. And even though I'm not letting that pull me back, and the most important thing is knowing it now and being able to also transmit it into your children and let the generation continue. Yeah.
I mean, this podcast is another channel. Whoever will be listening to this now, or maybe anytime gonna listen to this, let it be a reminder that it's never too late to start reading. It's never too late to even start your business. Even if your brand failed, I mean, there are still other things that you would like to put together. Make sure you try to know the mistake that made it fail, and also come back to trying again. Nothing actually is ever late. Nothing is ever late. Okay, I'm gonna give our audience today, I'm gonna give them a chance that in case they have a question or a contribution with what we've just talked about, like this last point. Ore and Sarah. Sarah, I don't think Sarah it's convenient for her to talk, so we could go with Ore again. Ore.
What you said was really nice, motivating, and encouraging, and I agree with every single point you made, because it's there's a tendency to be afraid to take that first step, and then just like you said, even if it fails, you stand up again and do, or you try something else. Just keep trying. That's the whole point. Just don't stop, because the real failure happens when you actually give up and not continue to try. So, like you said, just keep trying. And the point you made about, this group chat and talking and not people not having any mindset to desire for something more, for something. It's something that I was talking to with someone recently, and I said the same thing. Like, it's nice to talk about all these things to have fun, but that shouldn't be the only thing you focus on. There needs to be substance, at least at the end of every conversation. You should be able to look back and be like, okay, this was what I gained. I gained something in as much as I had fun. I was able to relax.
Exactly.
But there's something of substance that I got from that, which is very essential, and it goes a long way. People do not understand the importance of that, because if you continually have this mindset of gaining something, it's affects how you look at things, the level of seriousness you put, the level of commitment of attention you give to things, the detail, and then it will not just reflect in your conversations, in everything, even in the business plans. You're going to see you're going to become more productive.
Exactly.
So that was, as you said that stuff, it just I was able to like
hit you, right?
yes. Like this is essential, and I was happy that you made that point, because it is so deep. Like there's a lot to
it is.
that meet the eyes than what meets the eyes. So it's really nice. Like every single point you made, so was not, at least it's encouraging to see that there are people out there with this mindset.
It is.
So I was glad to hear that, and also what Jane talked about the book club. I think that's great. I mean, it's not easy to. It's a skill. It's actually a skill to be able to gather, to get people together and start something. Even though you might consider it to be something small, or it's just a book club, but no, it takes a level of skill to be able to get those people together, to even get them to listen to you or trust the idea in the first place, to to run along with it. So yeah, that is really nice. I mean, I've learned a lot. I've gotten a lot from today's podcast. I think it's good. I do not really have any question. I mean, I guess a lot has been said. The major things has been touched on, the fundamental stuff, which obviously answers to a lot of other questions have been touched on already. So
okay, all right, that's amazing. And I want to rephrase on the group thing. You may not know how many groups you've joined in this China until you just type group, and then WeChat brings you.
Yes.
Like, it's so annoying. And when you say some topics, we're like, excuse me, how did I get here? Like some topics,
honestly.
And the groups are dead. Like, they are dead. Even the ones that are still
really dead.
They just talk about just anything. And I hate the fact that they just come to a group that should be educational and start talking about celebrity life. I'm like, are you serious?
No focus. Yeah, so, and that's really fascinating. I made a decision like this year that I have a very limited number of groups which I can talk into. And if any group is not adding value to my life, I'm not there. I'm not spending more than 2 minutes there talking things that don't matter. If any time, like, I have a schedule, but if anytime I feel like I have a free time and I get into the group and I find any group that's interesting, I can join the chat there. But if it's just so many things that don't matter, I never partake in that. And it has gradually given me more time to be able to read and do other things that are more important to me. Because most of the time we're just wasting so much time in group chats talking nonsense.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. Without further ado, I think I should go to the next point, because we have 2 more points here. You just talked about the limiting beliefs that hold us back, and now the next one is the 3D thinking method. The 3D thinking method: long terms versus middle terms versus short term. What do you mean? I don't understand that.
Yeah. These are some of the most powerful things. When I come across, I really feel like sharing it out with people is really important. There is a strategic way of thinking. Like, most of the time, or let me say, before, that was how I realized how short term I was always thinking. And when you look at all the great people in the world, or people who are succeeding, they always have this long-term strategy. There are three types of thinking. There's the short term, there's the middle term, and the long term. Yeah. There are people who are very good at solving problems, like immediate problems. If like if there's a problem now, they can just solve. If you're having a wound, they will just bandage it. There are others who think about longer terms, like if you have a complication in your body, like they can do you a surgery. The surgery is like the middle term thinker. So the short term person is just thinking about the wound and he will like bandage it. The middle term thinker will be thinking about the after effects of that, and maybe be thinking about a surgery to eliminate all that altogether. But the long term strategist is thinking about changing your lifestyle altogether. Maybe changing the food you eat, the activities you do, and everything you do, so that you may not even run into the risks of the wound or the surgery. You understand? So, and it's the same. Like if we're having a fire warning, some people are waiting for the fire in order to quench it out. Others are maybe trying to plan a fire station, maybe or putting a firefighter there in order to wait for it. I mean, in order to be ready, that if the fire comes, they'll fight it. But other people are thinking about even building a fire station there, and maybe even cutting all possible ways in which the fire can come. So, and this really applies to our lives in many ways. Like what we're saying here, most of the time, our thinking is only like when we talk about teaching, it's so short term. It's so immediate because you just get that instant notification. And many of us, we are quick to do things that will give us instant money. We don't know how to go middle term or even long term. And no matter how hardworking you are in this world, if you only think about the short term, somebody who is thinking about the long term will always double you in time. It will always multiply.
That's the truth.
His opportunities over you in the long run. And it's very, very tempting. You know, when we sit here as Africans, some of us are teaching and we're having some good money, which is tempting to others to do it. But there's another person who is starting a business. Maybe he starts earning maybe just 5,000 yuan in that business. And the business is gradually scaling. And maybe it can come to a point where just one deal he's able to make will take all your salary you've collected throughout your years.
Yeah.
You know, that's how business is.
Okay,
yes, and we always forget that's a long-term strategist. He starts little. Unfortunately, it's always very difficult to think this way because most of the time it's so tempting. When you see people like having some cash, living a certain standard of lifestyle while you're struggling, you always feel like you're left behind. You're tempted to switch to leave what you're doing and go and look for something that will give you immediate cash. But if you keep that discipline, that concentration, and keep perfecting yourself in what you're doing and thinking about the long term. If you start a business today, stop thinking about trying to make money today or tomorrow. You can be thinking of making money even in 10 years, but make sure you're totally into it in a way that the day you're going to blow, in fact, prepare yourself in such a way that when that one opportunity comes, like Zoom, you saw Zoom. Before 2019, Zoom wasn't.
I know, right?
It had. That's what we call a strategist. That's who we call a strategist. Many people, like Zoom was such a little business. A lot of people were making money through other businesses. But when COVID hit, Zoom was prepared. They were thinking long term before, and the business just blew because everybody turned to virtual meetings. And that's how. So I'm just trying to say this across, like, always think about the long term, no matter how the short term is. And the middle term are so tempting. It's always good to put your focus on the long term. Yeah.
Okay, so this brings me back to your business, okay? Because I told you have about 3 to 5 minutes to talk and market your business. So with this whole term and the goals, how can you place it on your business? And what is your long-term goal as the CEO of Ets Halidaddy?
Yeah, coming back to my business, when I was starting, I was just like, let it support me to be able to to get maybe some basic necessities around and help me in school. But in the long term, I mean, in the middle term, it started being able to I started like when I was buying groups and doing and sharing in groups, it started helping me to scale across China to be able to survive my family. But in the long term, like I've tried also to scale it across the world also, but it's a little bit difficult because of maybe sometimes payment methods and all the warranty stuff, because sometimes you can send goods out if it has a certain level of, it has some problems, you'll be able to, you need to send it back and all that, which is a little bit difficult, which you have to work out maybe with the shipping companies. You have to find out really trustworthy shipping companies and sign this with them, which can cover up this. But away from that, I'm not fully saying this is my business. Like I know right now it's giving me enough space to be able to think, and thinking long term is like trying to see what are the opportunities. How scalable is this business? When you start a business, you have to also start thinking, how scalable is this? If in the long term, I'm seeing that this business is not scalable to the level I want, I can completely move myself out and use the skills I've learned there to take on another business. Like apart from electronics, I also learned so many other business ideas around. And if electronics is not able to scale me up, I can totally jump out of that and get to other businesses. Even though I have a big plan to expand electronics in a way that, in fact, I even hope that one day I could be able to manufacture foods in Africa. That's a long-term plan. But I have to have all this in, like if you don't have an idea which to you is crazy enough not even to think about, you might not even be having the motivation to keep moving. Exactly. You always sit here and be like, yeah, I'll be sitting around. I can get a few hundreds or a few thousands, move around, have a good life, but that is not going to help. At the end of the day, a long-term strategy is about giving you fulfillment. And fulfillment only comes when you're able to impact a community. You're able to create jobs. You're able to give back to the people who raise you up, because you're raised up actually from a community and you have a responsibility to give back to them. If tomorrow I'm able to get a phone, even a phone factory in Africa, and employ people and teach them how all this works, that's the biggest long-term impact I ever have. So
okay, thank you. I mean, it is even if you're not really sure of how it's gonna happen, I think it's a step forward to have it upstairs. I mean, it's so different from not even understanding what you want to do long term. So it's a +1 for you to actually have this in mind. Okay, so we have less than some minutes. I just want this stuff to finish in 1:30. It's already 50 minutes, but I'm gonna add like 5 to 10 minutes. So I have an extra, which is, you said, the predicted future of Africans in China. I want this to be another podcast. Okay, I don't want this to be crazily long. I think it's long enough. So let me hear you. Like maybe like you have last word, or you have an extra to add. We have an extra topic, but I'm gonna have another podcast with you. Anytime you're free again, we could do this again. So let's just conclude on today's. All right. The business mindset, focus, and opportunity. What do you have? What is the additional thing you can talk about? And now it's your chance to talk about and market your business.
Yeah. All in all we are trying to, all I've been trying to put together is we really have to acknowledge the opportunities we have in China instead of looking at our challenges, because we have challenges which are true, but on the flip side, we also have opportunities. We don't have to like run away from this opportunity. In fact, we don't have to run away from our challenges. We have to face them and turn them into opportunities. And we have to look at the bigger picture of everything we are doing. We have to be looking at what are our short-term goals, what are our middle-term goals, and what are our long-term goals, and start building up. And we are also very, very fortunate because our jobs never really, many jobs people are doing, it doesn't take so much time. By 5 p.m., a lot of people have closed. You have all the night and so much time. Instead of being in group chats, we can actually be doing many other things that are important. So, as for me, as for me, my business is doing online, is doing online shipping of electronic products like phones, laptops, and so many other electronics products. So you can contact me on WeChat. That's my name, Ets Halidaddy, or you can get to my phone number 153-007-54344. That's also my WeChat contact. And I also talk about all these mindset stuffs on my Facebook, my YouTube channel, and also on my Instagram, which are all Ets Halidaddy. So anybody who is
I'm gonna put, after this session, I'm gonna, maybe if I have the time to edit this, I'm just gonna put it like a word detail there. But if not, then I could put that on my description on wherever platform I uploaded. So
yeah. So anybody who is interested in learning, in always learning more and sharing more ideas as well, you can follow me on all these platforms. And I'm also very grateful for you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you for coming. I've learned so much. Okay, I'm an African, so it's more like someone is talking to us. Someone is talking to us. And there is no way you can know everything. Okay, I could talk about how to learn Chinese in China as a foreigner. Maybe already it's interested in more like the cultural shocks, and maybe Sarah is interested in how to be a nurse and all of that in China. You know, we cannot know everything. So bringing something like this, it's more like a personal, I don't know, but it's a plus for me. So thank you so much for coming. And thank you for reminding us to read. I think that's very important.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, so guys, in case you guys are just tuning in, of course not, because you cannot watch the podcast from like the end. But yeah, this is Ets Halidaddy, and I'm the host, JB. And today we have Sarah and Ray. Sarah was not able to talk. She wasn't able to open her mic, but we have Ray, who really added a lot, and I'm so sure this podcast was a plus for him as well. So already have something to say because we are almost ending the podcast. All right.
Yeah, I think it was great. It was nice. It was insightful, motivational, and encouraging. You know, hearing some of the, like rehearing some of the facts already, and also a lot of new points that you also raised to. So I thank you very much. I was happy. I'm glad to be part of the conversation today.
Okay, thank you so much for joining. For those who are not able to join, anyways, I'm always gonna post the whole thing on Instagram, AUDIOMACK, YouTube, Facebook, and WeChat. Maybe later TikTok. I don't know how I could do that, but yeah, let's just see how it goes. So you guys, that is gonna be it for this session of podcast with Ets Halidaddy. How do we end this podcast? I just feel like not stopping actually.
Oh, thank you. It was a great pleasure being here. Thank you very much. So see you next time.
Yeah.
Going to be having many.
Most definitely. I really want to work with you. I really want to have more podcasts with you. And maybe like other points as well, like being a father in China. I mean, that's another thing. That's another topic, you guys. Yeah, he is loaded. So please, if you want this, if you want his contact, I'm gonna link it down below the description, the comment section. I'm gonna put all these contact details there. So please feel free to contact him if you want to get smart gadgets and also want to have a one-on-one talk with him. So I'm going to call it a day or a minute for this podcast. Thank you so much and bye. All right. So